What's up, college football fans? Don't forget to check out and order your copy of Stiff Arming Football Myths, our latest football game plan book. So go on our website at footballgameplan.com/books and get your copy. We have these available in paperback as well as in PDF form. Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Memory Hunt, the czar of the playbook, bring you our FCS Week 2 wraparound. We're going to go across the college football landscape to take a look at some of the key games this week in the FCS. But first, we're going to start off with a big-time rivalry down in Delaware as Delaware State travels to Delaware. The Route 1 rivalry between Delaware State and Delaware, and both teams are coming off losses, and Delaware State started out with a bang last week versus Monmouth, returning the opening kickoff for a touchdown. And I was at the ball game, and two guys stood out as big-time players, wide receiver Milton Williams and defensive tackle Rodney Gunter, whom they moved all across the defensive line. The problem for both teams is that they struggled to stop the run. The Blue Hens had an even tougher task moving the football on offense. Quarterback Trent Hurley has to do a better job of protecting the football, and he's a senior, and I think he'll get it together. Now, these are two young football teams, and I'll go with the Blue Hens in this ball game. Look for the defense to apply pressure on the freshman quarterback Isaiah Abadu and force some 3-and-outs, gain the upper hand, and come away victorious. Morgan State travels to Holy Cross, and this should be an exciting game between two teams that had impressive showings last week. Morgan State lost a close one to Eastern Michigan, but you came away impressed with quarterback Robert Council and running back Lamont Brown on offense, and linebacker Cody Aker and cornerback Delonta Hall on defense. Council's dual threat ability will cause opposing defenses problems all year long. Now, Holy Cross actually dominated Albany on both sides of the ball last week with a freak turnover at the end of the game that ended up costing them. Quarterback Peter Pajals dropped dimes all game long, but defensively the Crusaders are an active group. They run a 3-4 defense, which will be crucial in this ball game, as those outside linebackers will have to get pushed instead of pressure. Otherwise, they'll get gashed on the ground by Council. Now, Holy Cross will be much improved this year in the Patriot League, but I like Morgan State in this ball game. Their ability to spread the field will force Holy Cross into that nickel defense, weakening their pressure, and Council will be able to take advantage with the passing game. I like the Bears. Liberty travels to Norfolk State to take on the Spartans, and the Flames right off the bat have to do a much better job in protecting the football. Turnovers did them in last week versus North Carolina, and the big focus, in my opinion, this game will be on the Flames' offensive line, as they must keep Norfolk State's outside linebacker Lyndon Trail at 6'7", 260, who's a legit NFL prospect, out of the backfield. The Spartans did everything they needed to do defensively to win that ball game last week versus Maine, but the offense couldn't get anything going all game long. 2 for 15 on third downs won't cut it versus Liberty, and I would look for head coach Pete Adrian to work the versatile running back Brandon Riddick into the passing game a little bit more this week. Liberty's success in the trenches last week bodes well for the Flames in this one. Look for another low-scoring ball game for Norfolk State, with the Flames having just enough offense to get the victory. Huge battle this week between Jacksonville State and Chattanooga. The Gamecocks have to get back to basics, and that's controlling the line of scrimmage with their guards and center. Now, they didn't do a good job of that last week versus Michigan State, and I would expect a bounce-back game from quarterback Eli Jenkins, whose passing wasn't where it needed to be to start the season. Speaking of ineffective passing, Chattanooga's quarterback Jacob Huseman threw 4 intercepts last week, and mainly was the reason why the Mocs couldn't pull off the upset versus Central Michigan. Defensively, the Gamecocks must communicate better in the secondary, while for Chattanooga, they have to make this an in-the-box game, both versus the run as well as versus the pass, by keeping Eli Jenkins bottled up tackle to tackle. Now, I like Chattanooga in this ball game. Watching both games last week, the Moccasins' issues were, in my opinion, correctable ones, while Jacksonville State's issues were more based off confusion and uncertainty, and they have to get that ironed out pretty quick. Otherwise, they could struggle the rest of the season. We get treated to a very good early season matchup between Southern Utah and Southeastern Louisiana, and the Thunderbirds had their chances to pull off the upset versus Nevada last week, but they didn't. And what I came away most impressed with was the play of the Thunderbird offensive line. They did a great job protecting Aaron Cantu back there in the pocket, who was very efficient throwing the football. The one area you would like to see these guys improve offensively is on third downs. They have to do a better job of sustaining drives and staying on the field. On the defensive side versus the Lions, maintaining gap integrity is going to be key. Being out of position or undisciplined in your gap responsibilities versus Brian Bennett will hurt you. Now, for Southeastern Louisiana in this ballgame, we know how quickly they can put points on the board with All-American quarterback Brian Bennett under center. But this week, I look at their receivers as being the biggest X factor in this ballgame. The Lions receivers thrive on rack yardage, and Southern Utah is a very good tackling team, very good in the open field. That's going to be a key matchup you want to watch all game long. Now, defensively, I'm a big fan of linebacker Isaiah Corbett, who does a great job on both ends of defense. And Corbett's ability to apply pressure could force Aaron Cantu into quick, unwanted decisions, which in my opinion could ultimately lead to the Lions winning the ball game. And I like Southeastern in this ball game. Look for their defensive front seven to be the story in this one, more so than their explosive offense. And also don't forget to check out every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, College Football Now on our Football Game Plan Radio Network, located at blogtalkradio.com/football game plan. And check me out every Saturday as I co-host the FCS Wedge on these amazing radio outlets.